This is John for Global Traveler. Today I have the pleasure of talking travel with Barbara Booth, CNBC contributor and CEO co-founder of Gobi Travel Sleeves. How are you this afternoon?
I'm great, John. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. We definitely want to talk about the Gobi Travel Sleeves, but first, could you give us a little bit of your background?
Sure. I'm a journalist at heart. I've been a CNBC reporter and contributor for over a decade. And now I'm an entrepreneur and diving into the travel world.
How does one go from being a CNBC correspondent to being an entrepreneur and starting your own business?
Well, it's funny. It actually sort of started because of my time at CNBC. I was asked by a friend to investigate airline hygiene protocol after her son was getting sick every time that they got off of a plane. He had autoimmune issues, and she was very concerned because he always came down with a bacterial infection 2 days after coming off of a flight. And so she said, did you ever look into airline hygiene protocol? Is this something that you could look into? I'm really concerned about it. And through my reporting, I spoke to airline crew, scientists, cleanup crews for airlines, and I came up with some shocking discoveries about the protocols for planes, and that's how Gobi was born. So it really did come out of my reporting days.
So was that when she asked you the question and you started investigating, did you have in mind to do a story on it, or did you have in mind like what was in your mind?
Mm-hmm. So I did have in mind to do a story on it, as well as just, getting more information and finding out about the protocol. And we started talking about it, and she said, I think that I really believe that it is the airplane trays. And I really wasn't convinced at the time. And after I did my research, I found out that it was indeed the dirtier surface of the plane, and it carried so much risky bacteria. And that really started me thinking about people that have health conditions, people that have life-threatening allergies. And, there's so many different people that could benefit from this. And then also travel wellness is huge. It's something that I knew was coming into a big space just from my reporting days, and sustainability as well. And that all was a mixture of reporting that really emphasized why I should do something about this. And then being a reporter that reported frequently on so many entrepreneurs, famous entrepreneurs that really came up with an idea and hit it big. I followed their journeys. And so I myself kind of had the entrepreneurial bug. And so I said, you know what? I said to my friend, let's kind of jump into this and see what we can do to resolve this problem and promote sustainability at the same time.
So from the start of that sentence, let's do this together to the
Mhm.
actual product being done. Describe the process and briefly and how long did it take?
So it took a year of research. Because we wanted to have a product that really stood out. There really wasn't anything else out there like this, and there still isn't. There's tray covers that are disposable. They're not antimicrobial. They don't have any designs. We wanted to do something that was smart and simple. Sustainability doesn't have to be boring. It can be smart, simple, and fun and beautiful. So we started researching, you know, what we could do to have a fabric that would fit over universally the trays, and then come up with beautiful designs, but also something that was antimicrobial but had no toxicity to it at all. So we had to do a lot of research on which compounds out there could not be toxic but could do the trick, and also get the right lightweight fabric. We also have a case. So we had an engineer on board that helped us design a case that we patented. So the whole process took a year,
Okay.
exactly a year, until we launched our website.
No, I love your product. I've done some research. I've watched some interviews, and I certainly mean no disrespect. Why can't a person just, make their own, put a plastic bag or whatever over it and be done with it?
Sure. So a lot of people do things like they actually just do the single use wipes, which we wanted to get away from. We want to eliminate that because that's really not good for our landfills. They're clogging our oceans. So yes, people could possibly just take a plastic bag and put it over their tray, but we wanted something that would actually elevate your space and make you feel comfortable because we feel that, whatever journey you take should make you comfortable. And we really believe that you should go out there and explore the world, but also feel like you're at home. So we wanted to do something that had that antimicrobial properties. And I don't think that a DIYer could do that. Our tray covers actually prohibit any microorganisms from growing on it. So even though you're putting the cover onto the tray, you're not bringing any of the germs with you. So that's not something a DIYer could do. It also comes in beautiful designs. They also fit universally over every tray, and has a bit of a ribbing in it so that things won't slide off. So there is really a lot of special, unique properties that this has. And
What
it's
kind
built
of
to last. It's durable. You can throw it in the washing machine and just, use it over and over.
You just answered my next two questions. I was asking what kind of
Oh.
durability, and so when you put it in the wash machine, like how many washes do you get? Roughly, I mean.
Yeah, so you can use it forever if you want to, but the amount that we say so that you have 100% effectiveness with the antimicrobial properties is 25 washes.
Okay, that's a lot.
Hmm.
Considering most people don't travel 25 times or travel by airplane 25 times a year, so that's an
Right.
awful lot. Have
Yes.
you heard anything from not that you necessarily have to name the airlines, that's up to you. Have you heard anything from actual airlines?
So we actually have partnered with a bunch of airlines that have actually bought our Gobi sleeves, and some of them have bought them with the designs and to sell on the plane, and others have asked us to create beautiful designs with their colors and their logo right on them so that they could give them away as complimentary on the planes or to their most loyal customers. Also partnering with the airlines card members, and giving them these gifts as sort of a perk. So we have partnered with several airlines.
And certainly not to mention that, but have you seen knockoff products coming around since you started?
No, not knockoffs of mine yet. I, predict that that will happen. Um, we have a competitor, which is Airplane Pockets, but it's very different from ours. It slips over the tray, but then it has pockets that hang down, and they just come in black and then in blue. They don't, what we love about our product is it's so sleek and it's just, very, very small. You can just fit it in a little pocket of your bag, and away you go. The Airplane Pockets has their own, I guess, their own followers who would want a larger tray cover with pockets that hang down. I find that it's, can be a little bit bulky. So we just like to go sleek, stylish, and easy.
I liked it. One of the things I liked was it's not intrusive. It's just boom right there. You don't have a lot of overhead.
Yes.
You don't have to mess around with stuff.
It
Um,
literally weighs 1 ounce.
oh, that I did not know. I got to do better
Yes.
research on that. So, the first thing I thought of when I heard about the product was, what about the armrest? What about this? What about that? I'm going to assume you have because I can tell how your mind works. But have you started any work into spin-off products?
Yes, yes. We are already producing headrest covers that match, neck pillow covers, because a lot of neck pillows, you can't wash them. So we have, neck pillow covers. And we haven't done the armrests, but we are collaborating with some companies that make biodegradable wipes so that it can come in as a kit. We're not going to, try to rival all of the sustainable wipes because it would be impossible. Some people really do like to have them, but if you use the ones that are biodegradable and safe and non-toxic, we find that it's better to collaborate with those companies.
So let's kind of segue off into travel for a little bit. Obviously,
Mhm.
you've got a travel product. I assume you have an interest in traveling. So, where have you been? Where have you been that you've really enjoyed? Where do you want to go at some point? Bucket list places.
Sure, sure. So of course, my two favorite places to travel is Greece. It just has a beautiful mix of beauty, history, and it's just pure joy. You can walk the ancient ruins in the morning and be floating on crystal clear waters in the afternoon. And, the people are just incredibly warm, and you just feel like you're part of something timeless when you're there. My other favorite place to travel is Italy. Um, Italy is just a special place in my heart. Because every region feels like it's a different world, and the people are so passionate about their country, their
Mhm.
food, their art, their landscapes. And it just reminds me of how good life can be if you could just slow down and savor every moment. So those are two of my favorite places to go. But there's, some off the beaten places that I enjoy as well. Puglia in southern Italy is one of them. And Portugal in the Algarve region, a place called Tariva or Telvira. It's just an old seaside town that has beautiful cobblestone streets and so
Oh,
much history.
love it.
So yeah, but one of my bucket list places is the Maldives. I would really love to go to the Maldives and just be in one of those over the water bungalows. So there's a lot of places that I haven't traveled to yet that I would love to, and a lot of them would be some of the off the beaten path places because I think that you don't have to have the big names to have the big adventures, and sometimes it can be really nice.
So this question you cannot answer with Gobi sleeves. What are one or two things that you always bring with you on a trip?
Oh, okay. I think there's three things that I always bring with me, and one, of course, is water because it's so important to hydrate for so many reasons. It's just great for your skin. It's great for your mental clarity to get over jet lag. Really, really important. But pressure regulating earplugs is
Mm.
my definite go-to because my ears just are always affected on the plane, so that really really helps me. And the other is let's see, pressure regulating eye drops.
Mm.
My eyes always get very dry on a plane, and so when I'm ready to land, I just put the eye drops in and I feel like I'm refreshed.
Now, I always ask this to baseball players when they've had baseball cards and they finally see them. So, for you, have you ever walked, or what was the first time you walked on a plane and saw somebody else had a Gobi sleeve on a tray? How did that,
Oh,
how cool is that for you?
that is that's unbelievable, and that has happened. And I've also seen people, we have a case that I mentioned before. I see them walking around with the case attached to their backpacks because it's something that they can just clip right on. And it's just to have an impact on people like that, and to have people believe in your product and what your mission is and what you're doing is it's unexplainable. The feeling's just unexplainable.
So, this one you kind of answered a little bit, but I'm going to ask you in a different way. How has travel or this experience changed you?
Well, travel has really changed me in a way that it's taught me that resilience and mindset shape every journey. When you're traveling, things will go wrong. Your bags will get lost, flights will get canceled, plans fall apart. But it's really, you have two choices: either panic or adapt. And how you choose those moments, whether it's considered a disaster or part of the adventure, it will completely shift your experience. And so that mindset has changed how I live, how I lead the company, and how I face every challenge. So I think that travel has taught me that, but it's crossed over into my life and it's crossed over into my company.
And what about how have you impacted travel? I know there's
How
an
have
obvious answer, but I want to hear your thoughts.
how have I impacted travel? In what way are you saying?
Any way you would like to, at the end of the day, you look back and go, yeah, I made a difference in travel,
With my product.
or your
So
reporting, or the whole combination.
right. So I do feel like I've made a huge impact in travel because I want to encourage people to travel more ethically. It's really important to be sustainable because these are the places that we visit and that we want to stay beautiful for generations to come. And so while our product is answering one issue, and that's, to eliminate the use of single-use wipes and it really is just a reminder to people how important it is to travel more ethically and also to be more conscious of your health, and to just realize that there are people out there that do need something like this when they travel. And when I got into supporting organizations like people with life-threatening allergies, when I spoke to people who are part of that community, they said, people don't understand that we have this need, and thank you so much for addressing it and making people more aware of it. So I think that I have impacted travel in many ways.
So one more question. Now that you've had a product out there, you've seen it from idea to fruition. Does your mind, and not necessarily spin-off products as we discussed that, but do you look at other things differently now too, to think of possible ways to improve them? Is your mind kind of going off in those directions at all?
We are actually segueing into the medical space, to make covers for hospital bedside tray tables, to bring joy to people in the hospital. So it's we're calling it the hug. So it's a hug for people
Oh,
in the hospitals, and it also hugs your tray. So I do feel that products should bring joy as well as, have a purpose. And and also have a purpose, not just functionality, but have a purpose maybe to do good for the environment or any other reasons. So I do, when I think of products, I do think that they need to have a purpose in many different ways, not just functionality.
beautiful. Before I let you go, tell everybody one last time any information you want about the Gobi sleeves and especially where they could find them.
Oh,
Or
sure. Sure. So Gobi Sleeves is really for everyone. It's not just for the frequent traveler. It's for, every age group, male, female. It's really just for everyone who loves to travel. We want to encourage people to go outside their comfort zone and explore the world. And that's why we're called Go Be, go be an adventurer, travel outside that comfort zone in life and in exploration. And you can find these on Instagram at Gobi Sleeves, also on Facebook at Gobi Sleeves, and also at our website, gobisleeves.com.
sounds good to me. Listen, I appreciate your time. I appreciate learning about the Gobi sleeves. It's such a cool product because it's simple yet it's complex. It serves its purpose. It's got so many layers to it, and yet it's just a simple cover. It's inexpensive. It's small. It's lightweight. I don't know why people didn't think of it sooner, but thankfully you thought of it, and now it's out there. And I have seen them on planes. I didn't
Oh,
put
you
it
have.
together. I have, like I saw them, like I didn't really put a lot together. And then when I read about the Gobi sleeves, I went, that's what I saw. And I thought they were
Oh,
really cool when I saw them. So
thank you. Thank you.
I do appreciate your time. I encourage everyone to check out your website. And with
Thank
that,
you so much, John.
safe travels and healthy
Thank
travel.
you. Thank you. You too.
Thanks, Barbara.